Hello, hello. We are back in action. Friday, Momentum Day. This is the day we kind of bring it all together. Thank you so much for being with me this week. It has been a momentous week for sure. And I just want to, voice my gratitude to all of you. I was really reflecting um, this morning on just watching my team pick up on my energy and then the energy they add to it and the energy you add to it and your chats and just all the things mixing and swirling together. And I have to say, like, there's nothing quite like it. And I think that that's what's gotten me so hooked on this up level system of sprinting. It just works for me, and it works for several of the people that I've taught it to. And, some of those things that have come out of it, I had a client years ago who started sprinting with me, and she was getting in the flow. She was getting her mojo, right? And happened to be out. I don't know. This was like middle of the sprint somewhere, probably just past the end of the first leg, and she ran into a piece of property, and she got excited. She'd always dreamed of building a beach home, and she ended up taking the next step and finding out about that piece of property, and then she took the next step and she ended up getting that piece of property under contract before the end of the sprint. And then, by the fall sprint, she was designing plans for her future beach home with her husband. And it just kicked off this whole wave of stuff that she never saw coming. And all of a sudden, a year and a half later, she was putting rocking chairs on the porch of her beach home, her tree house, just off the intercoastal and the ocean, here, not too far away, down the beach from me, about an hour or so. And she never saw that coming, right? Like, what an incredible thing to start, um, you know, during this sprint period. She never saw that coming. So, that's a great example of momentum. One thing leads to another thing, leads to another thing, leads to another thing. And we talked about analysis paralysis a little bit. We have such a tendency to want to use excuseitis, right? Well, I need more information. Well, I need to have it figured out. Well, I need to just sit down and think about this some more. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't need to think about it anymore. Maybe what you need to do is get into gear and just start taking some massive action, right? What is the next step? What is the first step? You guys, I'm giving you a first step right here. If you don't know what to do, borrow from my belief and dive into your workbook, right? We talked about the workbook. Get clear. That was the first thing, right? And then examine your old story, decide what your new story is going to be. That was mindset and mental game day, right? Make your love list. Figure out how to keep your energy high, how to keep in a good feeling space so that you can keep attracting and noticing the things that are really contributing to that mojo, right? More joy, right? If you don't know what to do, borrow from these steps right here. Maybe these are the next steps that you need to take. Just consider that, right? Maybe it doesn't have to be so hard. Hi, Nina. So glad that you're back. You're like my little JumpStart angel. I was realizing that that's exactly what you are. You're a JumpStart angel. Did you know that? Well, I do. Absolutely. And yesterday, we brought it even closer to home by talking about money and some of the limiting beliefs around money, and really believing that this is the land of infinite possibilities where anything is possible. And really getting in touch with gratitude and the things that are right on our plate. What do we have right in front of us that we can make best use of? It's so easy to be looking out there for what isn't happening or what hasn't shown up, and all of the things that aren't yet. But what is? what is right in front of us that maybe we need to be an even better steward of. Maybe we need to show gratitude for what we have by making better use of it. Right. In even in the Bible, in the parables of the talents, right, there were three brothers that went out being gifted resources, and it was the one who invested it, right, that ended up getting the kudos at the end of that story, not the one who stuffed it under his mattress or the second one who squandered it gambling. It was the third one who invested it, right? So, how are you investing those resources of money to help grow the wave, right? Put your values, put your money where your values are, right? Put your money towards your core values. Let's make the main thing, as I've heard. Well, Kelly Roach, I think I got that from Kelly Roach. Keep the main thing the main thing. I love that, right? Which just really means let's make everything, all of our actions, all of our mindsets, all of our beliefs, let's get them in alignment with our highest and best good. Let's get them in alignment with our highest and best good, because then momentum is going to start picking up. It's going to start carrying us. And maybe randomly, we're going to be out driving one day in the flow, and we're going to run into an incredible piece of property. Or we're going to run into a person that we've never met yet and we didn't see coming. Guys, we're not going to have it figured out. We're not going to be able to see those things from here. We're going to see those things after taking the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. And then 27 steps down the road, something's going to pop up that you didn't anticipate. Something's going to pop up, and it could even be something that completely changes the game or changes your life, right? I mean, you just really never know. On May 26, 2012, I took a next step. I didn't really have any business taking it physically. I was in pain. I had had a car accident earlier that week. And my back felt kind of wonky from the car accident. It was a pretty major car accident. I actually ended up totaling my car. I had moments of complete fear and being terrorized that my daughter was going to be severely hurt in that accident. I literally I was making a left-hand turn, and a car plowed right into the passenger door where my daughter was sitting in the front seat with me as a driver. It was terrifying, right? But I had promised my cousin, who was my accountability partner at the time, that I would take a next step. I knew I needed something to jumpstart me, and I promised to find a running group so that I could learn how to run. And I didn't want to go to run. I didn't want to go. I wanted to go. I didn't want to go. I had chosen the target, and I felt intuitively like I needed to do it, but I really hated running. Remember me, the running hater? Yeah. And I had promised her that I would find that running group. Well, it was the next natural step, and I did make a commitment to taking it. And so even though it was grossly uncomfortable, I mean, very uncomfortable for me, even without the hurt back and the car accident, but especially with the hurt back and the car accident, very much out of my comfort zone. Here's a person who hates running, showing up to running at a running group with complete strangers who run. On top of it, know what to wear and know how to run. That was not me. I showed up in the wrong gear, the wrong clothes entirely, was scolded and told never to wear those clothes again, quite kindly, or maybe somewhat abruptly. But, I was completely out of my comfort zone in a group of people I had never met, doing something that I was not comfortable with at all. But I really felt the nudge. I really felt like this was the next natural step, and I needed to follow through and take it. And sure enough, that ended up being the day that I met the love of my life, Kelly. And he showed up at that running group too for the first day. And it literally changed everything for both of us. And I'm so grateful that I was willing to follow through, hold myself accountable to something that I felt was the next natural step, even though I didn't even completely understand why. I think I was getting some supernatural guidance there. I would think I was getting a nudge from the universe that this was a place. I think honestly that was a God-led, God-inspired move. At the time, it was uncomfortable, but I followed through. So I'm grateful that I followed through. What do you guys need to follow through on? Maybe that's even grossly uncomfortable, right? Maybe it's way out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're going to have to show up someplace to do something that you don't want to do with a group of people you never met yet. I don't know. I don't know what it is for you. I don't know where you've been holding yourself back, right? Maybe you've been holding yourself back in several areas and you've just been comfortable thinking about it. Well, I love thinking about it. I love planning. But at a certain point, you have to step out and start taking the first step of action. And that's really super important. So today, as Momentum Day, we're going to talk about, bringing this all together and how to stay in motion. And here's what I want to say, write this down, guys, because there are some really powerful exercises at the end of your workbook that I want to go into. Um, but here's the reality. In order to have that willingness to follow through, to get in motion and stay in motion, be accountable to those dreams, set those targets, physical, financial, other, for this sprint and this 90 days. Yes, you have to be willing to acknowledge that maybe something else is possible than what you're experiencing, right? And you have to get clear inside about where you are and where you want to be, and open yourself up to the possibility that you could do it. Could you do it? The first day that we signed up for a marathon, it was like, what are we doing? Like, could we do it? Could we run a marathon? Mind-boggling. It was mind-boggling to even consider, and still to this day, terrifying, even after I've done it twice. I have to say, right? And the thing that you have to continuously open yourself up to is a little bit like, I use that example of getting divorced and then loving again, opening yourself up to loving again, right? You have to be willing to fail. Holding yourself accountable to those dreams and getting out there and starting the action or taking that next natural step is all about allowing at a certain point, right? Allowing yourself to just show up and be in process, to be a work in progress, and to do it imperfectly. Just start. Jump starting. It's not jump finishing, it's getting going, right? And so it is really important to give yourself permission to do it imperfectly, maybe even fall on your face, maybe even show up in completely the wrong clothes and be scolded for it, like I was. I don't know, but I wasn't a great runner. I still don't consider running a easy thing for me, right? But each and every time I have to show up and be willing to do it on my terms, whatever imperfect version of running that is at the time. And so, for me, this running analogy, I use it a lot in my life. I've noticed that my running journey has really paralleled a lot of my other journeys in business and in life and parenting, because I do think that life is a marathon with a series of small sprints in between, right? A marathon is 26 segments plus, a small point two at the end, of 1 mile each. And so that's exactly what we're doing with this sprint, you guys. Sure, our whole life, our whole business journey, our whole, journey to training for the marathon, it's a series of sprints in the meantime. So how can we harness the energy of that blinders on, focused, positive, I can do it attitude, and get out there and start? And so if you don't know where to start, this is the perfect place to start. If you're joining us for the very first day, that's okay. Go back and watch the replays from day one. Go back and watch the replay from day two. Go back and watch the replay from each day, because it builds on itself, right? And there's intention in this, right? There's a rhythm to this. I have to say, I'm already like pre-grieving in a way. I'm going to miss you guys. And at the end of the week, I can already see into the future, and I'm going to miss this time together. So I know that keeping up the sprint for 90 days is no joke, right? Because I'm in it with you. You're not alone in it. So I know that in order to keep my mojo up, in order to keep my momentum flowing, in order to attract the resources I need to hit my financial target. My financial target this sprint is a team target. So I have a business financial target that requires me to get help from other people. I have a whole lot of people that need to come alongside of me and sprint with me. This is not a target I'm going to hit on my own. And there is a possibility that I might not hit it. Right. Of course, every time you set a stretch goal or a target, there's the opportunity maybe not to hit it. But the reality of it is that if I don't put my blinders on and I don't get focused, then I'm absolutely guaranteed I'm not going to hit it. And this target has meaning. This target, I went 7 layers deep and I said, "Well, why is this important to me? And then why is this important to me? And then why is this important to me?" And it's about the love of my clients and my team, my external and my internal clients that I deeply love. And I want to be able to show up for them on the very highest and best level. And that means I need to show up for myself too. And so, in order for me to continue on that journey to showing up for them at the highest and best levels, showing up for my family at the highest and best levels, I mean, the reality of it is that the people um, in my sphere of influence, you included, you guys, you're worth it, right? You're worth it. I want to show up on that level, and every day in every way I'm looking for ways to get better and better, to get stronger and stronger, so that I can show up for the people in my life on an even better level. Right? What can I do to bring more service, to do more, to create more, to build more, to, because that's how I'm wired. That's me living into my God given purpose, just like I want you to experience living into your God given purpose. Right. And I feel like part of that is parenting for me. I really feel like I was led to be a parent, to be a mother. It's a deep privilege for me to be a stepmother. It's a deep privilege and profound opportunity and responsibility for me, and I don't take those things lightly. So I want to show up for my family. I want to show up for Kelly, right? I want to show up for them each and every day. I don't want to miss a day because I don't have any guarantees, right? I mean, I think I shared with you at one point. I mean, I've experienced, a severe breakdown of my health at one point. I just had kind of reached the tipping point in stress, and my immune system felt broken. And sure enough, a couple weeks later, it showed up and got broken, and I contracted spinal meningitis. And going through that experience was a game changer for me. It was similar to the kind of game changer experience of like showing up for that running group and then, you know, having my faithfulness met with the favor, the blessing of meeting Kelly. That was such a good example of like following through on my commitment to myself and showing up even when it's uncomfortable. And then, what blessing could possibly be on the other end of that? And wow, that was like a total life changer, right? But getting sick like that was also a life changer for me because it made me deeply, deeply grateful. I was already grateful for vital health and for movement, but I will never forget not being able to walk and not feeling like I had physical stamina in my body that could even get me beyond 20 steps. I'll never forget how winded I felt doing very simple things like even just getting up to look in the mirror. It was devastating. And I considered for a moment, I mean, actually, I didn't consider in that moment when I was that ill, I actually my brain was on a deep winter rest. I didn't have a chance to feel fearful because I literally wasn't really processing thought that way. Um, but later on, it was like, wow, there's no guarantee of getting better in those situations. You don't know what you don't know. And so it refocused, it reframed the current day, right? Numbering our days, means being very grateful for the time that we have and being a good steward of that time. So guys, I want you to experience this momentum with me. And if you haven't started yet, this is your call to action to pick up the mantle of self leadership in your own life that I'm throwing down to you to say, hey, let's do it different this time. If you sprinted before, you're going to sprint this time like never before, because your three targets are going to be so clear to you, so crystal clear to you, with such deep anchoring meaning for you, that they're going to be the best targets that you've ever set. The first leg of this sprint is going to be the best leg that you've ever sprinted, because this 30 days kicked off with 5 of the most special jumpstart days, right? And we're just going to continue that mojo through Easter, right? This is a major period of holidays for every major cultural religious tradition out there. Easter, Passover, just coming out of Ramadan, Holly. We've got major holidays. All of these holidays are celebrations of life, of rebirth, of springing forward. Right. So no matter what your tradition is, there are opportunities for celebration. And I want you to know that this season of springing forward, of jumpstarting, of rebirth is available to you. But not just that, that you have decided. If you're on the fence, don't be on the fence. Right? What do you need to decide that you're worth it? What do you need to decide that you're worth it? I don't know what it is for you, but when I get connected with my targets, it really all comes back to my family and to my creator, right? And I just want to follow through on my potential, and I want to show up for them. And that love catapults me into all kinds of uncomfortable situations, doing all kinds of things I don't know how to do yet, being willing to fail forward fast, because I just want to be the best version of me for them. So if you relate to that on every level, and I think that you do, because otherwise you wouldn't be here, then it behooves you to get super clear. So some of the mechanical things that we've talked about is you've got your legs marked out. This might be redundant, but I'm just going to go through it again because it's super important, right? First leg of the sprint is March 18th to April 18th, milestone day, April 18th. Ding, 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 reward day. Nina, what are you going to do on milestone day number 1? I want to hear about it. And I can see other people out there. Please share it with me. What are you going to do on milestone day number 1? I want to know. I am excited to know that. Second leg of the sprint is April 18th to May 18th. Okay, milestone day, May 18th. Ding, ding, ding. What are you going to do for yourself to reward yourself, not just for your progress, but for your process? Right? What are you going to do for yourself? What small token of appreciation are you going to purchase for yourself that's going to remind you how worthy you are and how abundant resources are, and that those financial targets are totally within your reach? What are you going to do to remind yourself of the sprint that you're on, and of the incredible commitment you've made to yourself to sprint towards the life or business of your dreams? That's what I want to know, right? June 18th, end of the third leg, May 18th to June 18th. June 18th marks the end of the spring sprint. We will be well into kids out of school. Summer will be kicking off, and we're just a couple weeks in front of the 4th of July here in the United States. Independence Day, how appropriate, right? But this kind of sprint mentality is the key to freedom. Because what you're actually entitling yourself to do is to acknowledge the things that you want to be, do, and have. And simultaneously, right, what is already in you to be, do, and have. What you're already programmed for, because the desires of your heart are aligned with the things you want to have. I talk to people, well, what do you want money for? Well, I want more options. Well, what do you want time for? Well, I want more options. Well, what does that mean to you? Options equal freedom. Options equal freedom. That's exactly why the course that I'm going to tell you about is called the Time, Money, Freedom Formula. When I talk to people about what they really want, they want the freedom to build charities. They want the freedom to travel with their family. They want the freedom to be with their children, not miss a moment. They want financial freedom so that they can feel secure in any season of life. They want financial freedom so they can take that trip with their spouse. They want financial freedom to build, do, grow, see the things that are the desires of their heart. It all goes back to that. Right. And so, what is it for you? What do you want the freedom to do? Nina, maybe you'll go to lunch at some restaurants that you never go to. Yes. Pick one that has been calling to you and put it on the calendar. Stake a claim. I love checking out new restaurants, and it feels like such a gift. It does make me feel like a princess, right? Back to Princess Day on a milestone. I think it's important to do extra special things for yourself when you're in the process of making an extra special commitment to your targets, right? When you make an extra special commitment to showing up for yourself, that is worthy of celebration. And those milestones along the path, along those legs, are worthy of celebration. You, in fact, are worthy of celebration. So, I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the rest of the sprint. And that reminder of, not being afraid to fail, I think is it's a super important piece of it. I've done a ton of failing, you guys. I've done a ton of failing. And I always, some of those failures are bigger than others. But some of them have been life-changing opportunities as well. And some of the best gifts that I've seen in my life, gifts that I can't even put into words, gifts to become a stronger, more resilient, person, gifts to grow in capacity, compassion, understanding for people in all walks of life and seasons. Just gifts to, yes, massive dumb tax sometimes, just things I didn't know, things I didn't even know to ask, things that I couldn't have even begun to figure out how to ask. I was so far out of the ballpark, right? But maybe I was already knee deep in alligators and I was just moving forward. I don't know. Maybe I'm just super stubborn and I just have to learn by doing. And that means a lot of failing. Or maybe I'm not alone in that. And maybe some of the most successful people in the world, the people that I, continue to look up to that become, or continue to be mentors and coaches to me, maybe that's exactly what they're doing as part of their formula too. And so maybe this just is what it looks like to be human, but to be a human that's committed to continuous improvement. It's absolutely true that sprinting is not for you if you don't want to improve anything. If you are happy with exactly the way things are and you think that your physical body is going to stay exactly the way that it is, even if you don't build any muscle and if you don't build endurance, um, I, think that that is not true. But I'll give it to you for a moment. Um, it's a slow fade, right? It's a slow fade on the physical department. Financially, if you're happy with every single thing in your financial world, then you don't need any improvement. I don't run into a lot of those people that say, you know what? I have the life of my dreams. I have everything that I want. I have everything that I ever dreamed of, and I don't need to work on a single thing. Um, I think when you stop wanting things, you're probably a little bit dead inside. Those desires catapult us towards being willing to try things, being willing to go places and meet people and do things that maybe we never dreamed of before. So, I, for one, and in full alignment with just acknowledging who I already am. And I know for me that that is a progress equals happiness person. And I know for me, continuous improvement is just part of the game. It's part of the race that I was designed to run. It's part of the process that I was designed to embrace. And so I choose life. I choose yes. I choose a more powerful set of beliefs than the ones that previously limited me. In fact, in your workbook, you've got homework. So at the end of your workbook, you have 3 exercises in particular that I think are really important. And one of them is creating your own power phrase. So one of the phrases that I use over and over is, I don't know the way, but I will find the way. And that phrase does several things for me. It's a really good anchor because it reminds me, one, that I don't have to know everything in order to get moving. Two, I feel quite confident in my ability to find resources or to learn and to continue to seek things out. But there's a knowingness behind that statement, right? It's not a if. I don't know the way, and I think maybe I'm kind of gonna keep looking for the way, and I'm gonna keep trying to kind of sort of figure it out. That's not the phrase, right? I think that part of it is the certainty in that phrase. I don't know the way, but I'm going to find the way. It has a very certain basis to it. It's a very certain statement. I am going to find the way. I am resourceful, is what that's saying, right? I know I can find the way. And I think that that's is really important. So create your own power phrase. There you could have several power phrases. That's just one of mine. I have had a I don't know, a somewhat difficult relationship with my weight at points in my life, just never really being satisfied with where I was at any given moment, and it wasn't attached to a dress size. It was just how I felt, right? And so that also kind of led me to this like roller coastery ride and relationship with food at different parts of my life, because there are times when I felt like I don't even know what to eat. I don't even know that I want to eat. Um, and the things that I want to eat, sometimes I want to eat for joy. And food is a very social thing for me. And so I like enjoying food. I love food. I love eating with people. I love eating by the water. I mean, we've talked about milestone days having food in them. Oh, not a surprise. And so I don't want to not be able to love food and those opportunities to break bread with people, to enjoy their company, to be able to be in social situations. And so I had this somewhat contentious relationship with food. But one of my power phrases is, I eat for power and joy. And I didn't come up with that, quite honestly. Like, I was walking through an airport about 6 or 7 months ago, and the Phoenix airport, in fact. I just remember the moment. I literally had just stepped off an escalator and was getting ready to walk onto a moving sidewalk in the airport. And all of a sudden, this like phrase popped in my head: I eat for power and joy. And I was like, oh, well, what if that was my mantra around food? And I kind of noodled on it for a minute, and I tested it. And I was like, well, how would that work in this situation? How would that work in this situation? And I was like, yes, this is a power phrase, right? Because it's giving me permission to acknowledge that food is both for vital health, but it's also for joy. It's also for my soul. Right? Sometimes I just want to eat yummy chocolate and vegan strawberry ice cream because I want to. And it's not necessarily going to make me super strong like spinach, but I just want to eat it. So, yes, I eat for power and joy. And sometimes I eat for both of those things simultaneously. But I can't tell you how that power phrase, has really helped me. And that power phrase popped up in the middle of, oh, not surprising, a false sprint, right? Because I was thinking better thoughts, and it was leading to better habits and behaviors. And that was participating in the upcycle. And so, boom, I was gifted a power phrase in the middle of that sprint. Probably a power phrase that will be with me for the rest of my life. I eat for power and joy is now a very powerful part of my self talk. And so I think that a great example of how sometimes an anchoring phrase or thought will just become a part of your operating mode. So do this exercise in your workbook. Create your own power phrases or power phrase. And yes, Nina, I totally agree that not wanting is to stop growing. And so maybe that one of your power phrases is around always continuing, being a person who's committed to continuous improvement, right? Or that it's okay to fail forward fast, right? Failing forward fast doesn't mean slow, prolonged, thinking about it, stewing about it, brewing on it. Don't worry about figuring it all out or having all the steps. Just identify the one. Identify the one and then go do it, right? Tony Robbins is a huge fan of once you decide what to do or what you're going to go for, take one action that immediately puts you in action towards that goal. So if you decide, okay, I'm going to learn how to run a marathon, back to that marathon example, I immediately go to Google and look up marathons that I might want to run. And maybe I even immediately sign up for one that looks good because now I'm committed. And now that goal is going to pull me towards it as opposed to me reaching, right? Reaching. And so I think that anchoring your targets in action is extremely powerful. The next exercise that I really want you to take a look at as you wrap up this Jumpstart week, get ready for the next powerful week of sprinting, is your morning routine, right? Starting the day out with great habits, with great anchoring habits is really, really powerful. You can use some of mine. I've got some examples in there. Just remember, and it says this on here to remember too, little shifts create big results, right? One of the books that I've been quoting quite often for the last year or so is Atomic Habits, right? And it's a reminder that all these little micro changes, all these little ways that you're setting yourself up for success, they may look like little shifts, but they actually add up to be quite atomic in their impact, right? And it's atom by atom equals the big shifts. So the morning routine, how do you wake up in the morning? What are the first three things you do in your day, right? And how do you set yourself up for success each and every day? How do you set up your mindset? How do you set up that mojo? Is there something on your love list that you need to tap into, right? It really helps me to get into action early in the morning, right? I take a walk, I start exercising. I'm looking for things that I'm grateful for that day. I lean into my day, right? And I talk to my team about this. If there's something in your day that's hard to do or that requires self-discipline or willpower, it's really good idea to do it early in your day because we only have a certain amount of willpower. It's like a battery, and our willpower battery goes down throughout the day. Which is why I so often want ice cream at 7 o'clock at night. Yes. But the willpower battery is stronger in the morning. And so if there's something that's challenging to do, lean in with enthusiasm and get it done in the morning. Get it done early in the day, right? Because that's when you have the most chutzpah, the most commitment, you have the most energy for that thing, and you can really tackle those tough things. So in your morning routine, what do you need to do to set yourself up for maximum success that day? Look at your schedule that day and preemptively plan for what you need to be successful. Otherwise, it's so easy, you guys, to drift into the day and feel pulled this way and pulled that way and just reacting to what comes up in the day as opposed to responding and being really proactive with the day that you want to have, right? And the sprint, I mean, think about it. It's 90 days, which means it's 90 segments of one day. Well, within that day, there's also an hour by hour segment, isn't there? Right? There's a morning and there's an evening in each day. There's a noon time. What are you doing to nourish your body, to breathe? We could break down the sprint into 90 one-day segments, and then we can break each day in down to the segments that it has within it as well. This is kind of a start on that by looking at the morning. The morning is super important. Whether you're a morning person or not, that doesn't really matter. What matters is that you take a moment to think, to take a bird's eye view of the day and get on top of it, get proactive about the day, and gift yourself the fuel that you need for your mind, for your body, for your spirit, for your heart, so that you really have the best traction, the best mojo for that day. The third exercise that I really want you to look at is actually, I'm going to simplify it way down. The 90-day sprint, at the very bottom, there's a place for you to sign. This is a signature. The phrase in front of it is, I commit to this sprint with my entire heart, mind, and soul. I want you to just think about that before you sign it. I don't want you to just sign it randomly. I want you to think about what you're really committing to. You know, you're not committing to me. You're not committing to the sprint. The sprint is about you. The sprint is about the things that you want to be, do, and have in your life. And it's about your ability to receive those things, to go for those things, to gift your heart the thing it's really longing for, which is permission to just seize the day. Your heart is looking for permission to seize the day. You guys, you're wired for expansiveness. You are wired for the next thing. Give yourself the ability to just say yes. Don't be on the fence. Don't waffle. Don't waffle. Don't waver. Commit. And when you commit, when you look at your targets and you can say, yes, these are things that are tugging at my heart, like your targets are tugging at your heart, Teresa, because my family too deserves me to show up at the highest and best level. My team too deserves me to show up at the highest and best level. And my dreams are worth dreaming. You know, my dreams are worth dreaming. It's worth it for me to go for it, because if not this, then what? If not now, then when? If not me, who? Nobody is showing up to gift me the life or business of my dreams. As much as they love me, Kelly loves me. He can't reach into my life and make my dreams happen for me. I have to take responsibility for that. And if I'm sitting around waiting for some magic state to occur, when that is just going to be easier, when that is just going to be more comfortable, then I am fooling myself into thinking that that's ever going to happen, because I'm ensuring that it won't by not choosing in the first place. In fact, very important to point out, I am actually choosing something. I'm choosing no to those things, and I don't even realize it. I'm choosing no because I'm saying, yes, I want it, but I'm not willing to do what it takes to exchange for it, right? We talked about that yesterday. Super clear, super specific. What do you want? What are you willing to exchange for it? In that situation, I'm saying, yes, I want it, gas pedal, but no, I'm not willing to do what it takes, brake. Gas pedal, brake. Gas pedal, brake. Well, if I live my life with one foot on the gas pedal and one foot on the brake, where am I getting to? Nowhere fast. Nowhere fast. It's going to be spits, spurts, right? This is a much more powerful way to move forward, because it is all about alignment and getting that energy in momentum with the desires of your heart that are already there. Give yourself permission to dream, to want those things, to go for it. I believe you can do it. I believe you can have those things. I believe you can be those things. I believe you can do those things. And I know that we can more powerfully do that by staying in sync together. I'm going to run a little over today, guys, because I realize it's 12:45 and I still have some things I got to tell you about. So those are the exercises in the workbook. Take the time, gift to yourself this weekend. Maybe you're watching NCAA basketball. Maybe you're hanging out with the family. Take some time to commit to yourself. Okay. I don't think I could say that strongly enough. Hopefully I said it strongly enough. to just urge you to think a new thought. Take a second look. You're worth it. I want to stay on the journey with you. And yes, I'm going to be back in the fall. We're going to jumpstart the fall sprint, but there's a ton of opportunity between now and the fall, not just for you to stay very powerfully in motion on the sprint, but for you to continue to link arms with me in this journey. So my book Up Level is soon to be released on Amazon. We're in pre-order phases right now. And we actually have some special pre-order pricing on that book. So I was prompted to add some color to the book. So many of my marketing materials, my team just does really amazing design work. And my mentor and coach looked at my manuscript of my book, and she was like, "This doesn't line up with your aesthetic. You guys, all your stuff is so pretty. The book needs to be prettier." And so it was actually a really great example of using other people's feedback to make something even better. So we did slow down. We did add some color to the book and to really make it pop. And I'm so excited that Up Level is about to come out. It actually was just accepted on Amazon and Kindle and ebook format. And so very soon we will have an actual Amazon launch. I'm going to send a link out to everyone to help me let other people know about that launch, but that when we launch it, it will have retail pricing. There will be some special pricing for you, however, as part of this Jumpstart to pre-order now. And then I will place the order for those books, and my team will fulfill those orders as soon as that book is available in the next week or so. And we will ship that book right out to you. And that price that you'll see, I'm going to give you a link to a page, will actually cover the cost of shipping as well. So I think that if you want to take advantage of some special pricing, that is a really great chance to do that. And you won't be sorry, because the book will just back up everything that we've talked about here, and will reinforce all the stuff that we've been working on, right? So, and we'll go into a lot more detail in terms of each leg. There's a lot of resources in there in terms of tools, tricks. There's a sprint primer that you'll have a QR code to. You're going to get a lot more in depth, and you'll also get the color graphics and the things to support your journey. So I'm posting the link to that page. I'm going to post it in the pages as well, so that you can get the special pricing on the book and avoid the retail pricing. And then I also want to tell you about an opportunity. We mentioned it earlier in the week, but as I stated, I'm a huge fan of having a coach or a mentor along for the journey. And I'm really gifted to have some amazing coaches and mentors in my village of support. I truly believe that the times that in my life when I've had a coach, I think I've had 5 or 6 coaches along my journey. Coaching it acts like Crisco on the wheels on the tracks. It greases the tracks, and it makes momentum more possible, more sustained. You keep yourself accountable in rapid fire order. Well, as much as I would love to have 5,000 hours in a day and be able to coach everyone one-on-one, that would be a dream come true. I love coaching, but unfortunately, I don't have all those hours in a day. So what I decided to do is to record a creative video vault with over 45 videos with some amazing content on traction, on momentum, on time, money, freedom, on creating a life that has more options built into it. And so I'm also we have some flash sale pricing for Jumpstart participants on the time, money, freedom formula. I've had this course out for, I don't know, maybe about a year and a half. And I've gotten really positive feedback. I have not added any videos to the video vault in probably about 6-7 months. But I will say that I'm going to continue to add training resources to that video vault. So right now there's a lot of resources in there around general momentum topics, traction, even some business specific stuff around marketing and branding. But I'm going to continue to add resources to that vault. So I want you to know that this flash sale pricing that I'm going to also give you a link to here in a minute is actually lifetime access to that course. So it's one of the very best ways that I can stay on the journey with you, and that you can just on demand plug in a module. There's, 12 modules, 3 videos each, some really great resources in there. And, if you want to keep this jumpstart momentum going, for only $197, you get lifetime access. That course price is only good till the end of this month. And so that is going to go away at the end of the month, because typically that course is 3-4 times the cost of that. And so my team will alter that pricing at the end of the month. But I firmly encourage you guys to take advantage of that pricing, even if you think that there's somebody in your life that would benefit from that. And you're like, well, I don't know if they're really coachable, but I could give them access to this. That could be a really amazing gift. You can also gift that to them and give them your access information, and they would have access to that information. Of course, in your inbox, you also have the replays here. I will tell you that the replays for the Jumpstart Challenge are going to be up for several more days. I typically keep them up until Tuesday, Wednesday of the week after. And so I'm going to have links out in emails, and that will all be available. I might even keep it up until the flash sale pricing on the time, money, freedom formula goes away. I'm not trying to create false scarcity at all. What I'm really trying to do is give you guys a jumpstart advantage on having access to up level, on having access to the time, money, freedom formula at pricing that nobody else will. Because I really want to applaud you for being on the journey with me. So let me actually grab the link to the course, because I want you to have that. And I'm going to post this in across our channels as well, so that you will have it, but you have it there in chat, and you'll be able to access both the book and the course. That should lead you straight through to an easy access point. If you have any questions at all, you can send us questions or comments. Actually, I'm going to put my my wonderful assistant, April. I'm going to put her email address, and it is .co, not .com. I'm actually going to put that in the comments. For info or comments, for help, send April an email, and I'll be happy to jump on that with her, and we will get you the resources that you need. So if you have any trouble in the carts, if you have any trouble with the links, let us know. April, myself, Tiffany, there's a whole bunch of people here that can help, and we will be happy to help you. So I saved just a few small minutes at the end of this for letting you know how you can access these resources. Guys, this is really not about selling. This is about sharing gifts from my heart. This is really about just continuing this journey of momentum with you. And I really was confused about how to make more hours in my day. Of course, I can't do that. I really wish I could. But this is my remedy for that. And I'm in the process of baking up some other offerings, some master classes, some things that I think will help. So stay tuned. There'll be more coming out, but that this journey already has momentum. And for those, Nina, Chad, Spresa, there's been so many people along this journey with us, even this week, and lots more people, Angela and Ben and Leslie and Maggie, and so many people I can't even name that I've gotten comments and feedback from. I love you guys. I'm so happy that you decided to jumpstart with me this week. Let's make this spring the most incredible one ever. Diamonds are created under pressure, just like people. The most strongest, resilient, shiniest, brightest people are created under pressure. Let's create a little bit of pressure for ourselves, right? Let's create a little bit of pressure by naming it, claiming it, putting a deadline on it, and sprinting our way to success in life and business together. You guys, I'm so incredibly grateful for this time together. Make sure to check out those pages. Make sure to share with people. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I am going to root for, well, I'm torn. I've got Oakland versus NC State tomorrow in the NCAA, and Oakland being from Michigan, near and dear to my heart, is actually where my mother graduated from with her teaching degree, and NC State, where I attended for post grad, and my brother and sister-in-law also attended. It's going to be a tough one, but I think I'm going to watch some basketball somewhere in this weekend. And I do hope that you get to do something that you are looking forward to as well. So I'm glad that you are happy too. Thank you so much for your love and your support and your participation. And more than anything, I'm grateful that you're showing up for yourself. And so keep doing it. Keep sprinting one day at a time. Here we go. Have a great day, guys.